Good Tuesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller. Welcome to Real Talk, an insider's guide to real estate life and the pursuit of happiness, presented by the Yes Team Realtors. Live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world, on the I Love CVille Network. The distinguished gentleman, not only the executive producer, not only our North Star on this program, but evidently,
I just came back from being up north, so I'm used to BS. So it's
evidently, the distinguished gentleman Keith Smith also has a way of driving the Jersey Turnpike during a blizzard alone when there are no other vehicles on the road, which is probably an indicator that you should not be driving on the Jersey Turnpike yesterday for the blizzard. But the man wanted to come here and do a show.
You know, it was all about you, Jerry.
Does he have the video?
I texted him the video. I sure he does.
Could you somehow show that video? This is literally putting him on the spot here. If you can make that happen, that would be amazing. I mean, what were you doing?
I was driving.
I know you were.
That's what I was doing.
And then the dude texts me, on Monday we have a conference call. We talk a lot of business, a lot of advertising and marketing.
Are you going to rat me out?
Monday at 1:45, we have a weekly scheduled call. I get a text message from him.
Give me back my hero.
First, the guy goes, look at what I'm driving in, and he sends me a video, and then he goes, you want to do our call? I'm like, Smith, be safe. I was worried about you.
Give me back my freaking hero.
This is when you call me a Yenta.
No, a Yenta is a matchmacher. That's not a Yenta.
What do you call me when I give you a hard time?
A schmuck.
A schmuck. I don't know all the Yiddish terms.
Oh, a schmuck.
Well, I know what a schmuck is.
Well, technically, a schmuck is a jeweler. Is German for jeweler.
Really? Mm-hmm. Then how did schmuck become negatively connotated?
Well, it's Yiddish, so Yiddish is kind of German. It's kind of a mixture of different languages, but
when did the schmuck become bad? If the schmuck originally was a jeweler.
Yeah, it's a great question. That's something that my wife would probably have to chime in on because I barely can speak English.
That's not true.
So it's true. I can barely speak English. Siri doesn't understand me.
You send most of your texts via Siri.
Via voice texting.
Via voice text.
Just to kind of piss you off. Guess what I'm saying.
Sometimes I get the text messages from you, and these are like the text messages from my wife. I'm like, I speak Smith. I understand. It's 2 years. What show are we? Show 134? I mean, show 13. I was like, what the hell is this man saying? Now show 134, I'm like, you know what? I understand it. I get it.
Yeah.
That's crazy right there.
Well, I'm still in my New York attitude. I haven't quite toned it down yet.
Oh, you want to tell the story of the
if you want to, yeah, sure.
I thought it was hilarious.
Well, I only told you part of it. I didn't tell you the other part of it.
Well, you told the juicy part.
Yeah, so
for those that don't have a visual, we need to set the stage.
Thank you. So
some people are just listening.
Got it. Thank you for doing that. So I picked up a couple of Italian hoagies, or heroes is what we would call them up north, from this Angelo's Italian Deli right next to my daughter's place. The bread's from the Bronx. I got actually the olive oil and vinegar in separate containers because you don't want to put it on there unless you're ready to eat it right away. So you've got that that's the reason why we're not going to eat it live. You're going to have to, after lunch, open it up, put your olive oil on it. I picked up a little bit of red pepper, put a little bit of red pepper on it for you.
Keith.
And have yourself a beer. And, life doesn't get much better than that.
Well, did you tell the story about...
I don't know if I want to tell you the story. You've been a schmuck today.
Come on. Tell us the story. Justine Montgomery, welcome to the broadcast. Charlotte, North Carolina watching the show. Our friends in Richmond from the real estate community watching the program.
So for those who watch the show, when somebody asks me, right, how you doing, my standard answer, if I was doing any better,
you say it every time.
It'd be illegal.
Right.
So I'm at the deli, right? There's only 6 people allowed in. So if anybody's ever been in a New York deli, it's, the long deli counter. You got, glass case behind it with drinks and all that kind of great stuff. And there's 6 or 7 guys just running around doing kind of the soup Nazi kind of thing. And so there's a guy standing there, and he's, happens to be an Italian American, happens to be in a tracksuit. It's freaking 20 degrees out, and he's in a tracksuit, and he's sitting there, and he leans over to me, goes, so he's in first in line, and I'm 6 feet away, and leans over, and he goes, how you doing? And I go, man, if I was doing any better illegal, it would be illegal. I won't say what he actually said.
Well, you can use, paraphrase.
I'll paraphrase. Yeah. And he goes, that's the freaking best answer I ever heard. And all of a sudden, I got a best friend. But the second part of the story is, so you walk in, and they have these 6 spots, and you walk in, and Angela, the owner, walks up, looks at me, goes, "What the freak you want?" And I went, "What do you freak you think I want?" And he goes, "You want a freaking hero?" I said, "Yeah, that's what I want, a freaking hero." And then we just started getting into this thing. And, if you're not from New York, you wouldn't appreciate it. But that was a term of endearment.
Of course.
We were endearing to one another. And he goes, "I like you, kid." I go, "Thanks, Angelo. Can I get my effing sandwiches? I got to leave, man. Ain't got time for this stuff."
Christopher Eagle watching the program and loving this. Nicholas Erpy, hello.
Then I went to REI after that. That's where I got the new jacket from.
Oh, yeah, it looks good. It's sharp.
2 different conversations.
Oh.
Right within a mile and a half away from each other.
Well, I would think the REI conversation was a bit more corporate.
But very Seattle.
Oh, very Seattle.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we walked in, we were greeted, and so what we bought some stuff at REI, and I forgot, every time I do something at REI, I charge it, not charge it, but I give credit to my daughter's account out in Seattle.
Okay.
So she gets extra points,
Sure.
because it's a co-op. And so I was telling the guy, "Hey, man, I got to do this. I don't know her account. How are we going to do this?" And he goes, "Yeah, no problem. What's her name or phone number, whatever it was." And he goes and does it. And then I start showing him pictures of hikes out there, and everybody behind us was pissed because we're having a conversation.
You're sitting over there shooting
And
the you-know-what.
Like,
and everyone's like, "Let's get through the line."
and Yona's like, we got to move. "Yeah, don't worry about it. We got to move. "Yeah, don't worry about it." So anyway.
Yoda's this beautiful 7/8. She's watching the show. Yoda, hello. Good morning to you.
It was a lot of fun.
Andre Xavier, good morning and welcome to the
Hey, Andre.
broadcast.
So today, what are we going to talk about? What do you want to talk about today?
Man, we got to talk a little real estate.
Okay.
We got to talk multiple offers.
Yep. I would love to talk more.
What we got to talk about is the inventory coming on the market as fast as it's leaving the market. I read the pre-production show notes.
That was a test.
I read the pre-production show notes.
So-
You don't think I do. I do. I might be reading them on the think tank, and this is when you say TMI.
No, I get it though, actually.
Yeah, right?
So on Friday, so this came out this morning,
Okay,
the car fourth quarter report.
right? Q4 report.
So we're going to kind of stay away from this a little bit today.
Okay.
Quentin's going to come in on Friday.
Quentin Beckham,
And I'm
QB.
As the president of CAR, talk a little bit about that. I'll offer, if any questions come in on the feed, I'll offer my opinion on it. But to me, it's changed a lot. Well, I ran some numbers this morning, quite a bit from the end of December to the end of January, just to what's coming online in absorption. But what I wanted to chat a little bit about is if there's any realtors watching or professionals or anybody, are they starting to see multiple offers on every transaction? Or
What do you think, Ray Cadell?
So I know, just to set the stage a little bit, I can't give details.
Sure.
But literally this weekend we were up north. We wrapped up a deal at Lake Monticello. We were representing the buyers. We were fortunate enough to win it. It was, let's say, north of 300.
Whoa.
And it had 12 offers on it.
Get out.
12 offers on it.
12 offers. How long was it on the market?
It went on the market, I think, on a Friday, and I was doing this went on the market on a Thursday. I was doing the negotiations driving up on a Friday. So 24 hours, 48
Amazing.
hours, something like that, somewhere around that. And it was 12 offers, and it let's put it this way, it went over listing, substantially over listing. So I can't really get into the details, obviously.
Sure.
And,
Will it appraise?
It will appraise. Maybe as we get some feed in, we'll talk about, why it's so important to hire or to use a real estate professional on that. So we kind of tack into that a little bit on the back end of it. And then I ran some stats on inventory on that, which would be great. But I'd really love to see if there's any real estate agents, what are they experiencing,
Sure.
both on the buy side and the sell side,
Uh-huh.
and how they're counseling their buyers or their sellers on how to navigate
You're
this.
saying setting expectations,
That's exactly right.
which I think is going to be extremely difficult in a market like this. Extremely important.
Well, to me, you always need a real estate professional. We talk about this on the show all the time.
Sure.
You know, this phone or this iPhone or iPad or laptop is only going to get you so far. And
Sure.
after that, you really need a professional. Like the particular client we're talking about, we lost several deals before we got this one. And, you know, if you don't mind, we'll probably buzz through these reasons to hire a real estate professional, if you don't mind. Judah, Mr.
Director. Judah Whitcower, the fabulous director.
Who's going to sit behind that chair for 12 hours?
12 hours
On the
February
12th?
12th, Friday, February 12th. 12-hour telethon here. Partnership with the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust and the I Love CVille Network. We're going to try to buy some land the old crowdsource way. 3,000 people, $50 donation, that's $150K. The Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust gets a piece of property purchased on 10th Street West. I was looking at it on the map the other day. Fantastic location. Hop, skip, and a jump from Dairy Market, hop, skip, and a jump from Peloton Station, from Mud House, from Red Hub Food Co. Close.
So we're going to talk Charlottesville numbers here in a minute once we get through this, which will only
Further justify the telethon and its mission. That's what you were trying to say.
I'm not just going to sit here and drink my coffee.
Because you're basically going to show us numbers
Eat my hero.
that are very high, and you're going to use those numbers as a comp for what the land trust will build on 10th Street if we could raise 150K.
Yeah, so actually what I'm going to talk about is what the absorption rate is,
Ooh.
which is, you know, that's I spend a lot of time looking at actives versus pending. It's a really good snapshot of what's coming on and what's going off and all kind of great stuff. But to go back to that end of it, you know, why it's so important to hire a real estate agent. And, you know, you said was it going to appraise? And price is number one, right?
Uh-huh.
And what we did is any agent that's watching, this is what they'll do. We do our homework. We go ahead and do our research. And, you know, believe it or not, we won that, and we were not the highest priced offer, apparently. We won it because we took the time and energy to communicate with the other side, which is what a real estate professional will do. Every one of them on that will be watching, and took the time to understand what the motivation was. At least we tried anyway, what the motivation of the seller was, and then tried to match the motivation of the buyer and the motivation of the seller to come on and do this stuff.
It's a yenta.
A yenta.
A yenta.
You're
I learned that today. You taught me something.
You're happy with that,
Yeah,
huh?
it's a yenta.
Happy with that. Oh, it's just like, you know, that was, oh, good Lord. Can I say shit on there?
Yeah.
That was one shit-eating grin.
You taught me a word.
There you go, yenta. So, and then we understand schmuck. So anyway, so and Judah is going to buzz through some of these.
He's doing it.
These high level things.
Yeah.
But we talk about this on the show all the time, and it's so important to do that. And this isn't for us trying to promote our industry.
Yonna loves it. Yonna goes, Yonna, I love when you share your thoughts, Yonna. We are yentas. I love it. She said that, Yonna. I love Yonna. And Yonna said, Keith is right. Setting the right expectations and discussing what multiple offer scenarios before you are starting the journey. It's very important for both the buyers and the sellers.
Very good.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping is to get some more realtors chiming in on the feed about that, and how important this is also to do it on the seller side, set their expectations. Now, some people will say maybe this particular listing was a little bit underpriced when it hit the market. I don't think so.
Well, you're saying this is what he's saying. He's saying that the original listing at the lake that had how many offers?
12.
12 offers. The fact that it went under contract substantially higher than the list price, you can make an argument that the initial list price was too low. But then the counter argument to that would be having a list price that is a little bit, a smidge on the bottom side is going to drum up interest. And the strategy worked in that it got a multiple offer situation and it got a price point that was higher.
It did, but then that whole conversation started on our side anyway. Look, this is where I think the market is. We did our homework, we communicated with our client, we educated our client, and one of the slides says education.
Well, you went to your client and said, it's probably going to fall at this price.
That's literally what I said.
Yeah.
And actually, we got it less than that price. And the reason we did is because there were some other issues within our offer that drove the decision forward. And I can't really talk about the particular details, but part of it was, let's put it this way, I was listening to what the selling agent was telling me about what was important to its client, and it was not necessarily price. And that's how we came on top on this particular one. You win some, you lose some, right?
Well, did you assess the appraisal question?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no problem. You think it appraises?
Oh yeah, without doubt. I know it will, without doubt.
Yeah.
Now, that's a bit arrogant because, we have this conversation on the show all the time that appraisals are somewhat of a crapshoot these days because you really just don't know who you're going to get and how you're going to do this from. But what we will do, we do this either if we're representing the buyer or the seller, we will very gently do the homework for the appraiser, even if we're the buyer's agent, we will leave a list of improvements that we're aware of. We leave some market data, leave our business card. Hey, if you got any questions, please give us a call, that kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, the only real entity that can chat or have a conversation with the appraisers is the real estate agents. The lenders can't.
Of course.
Right? Well, it wasn't always like that.
The lender used to be able to have a conversation with the appraiser?
What do you think happened?
Well, you can see why that would be problematic. Thank God that's been siloed. When did that change, 08?
A little bit after something that happened.
Was it 08, 09 when that changed?
Yeah, as soon as that implosion happened.
Yeah, thank goodness. Those two should be siloed, no doubt.
Well, it's good and it's bad. It's
08, 09, could you pick your appraiser?
So the way it worked was back in the day that the bank had an approved list of appraisers.
So the bank had a hit list that it knew would green light deals to keep I'm just spitballing keep the pipeline full.
I am not going to go there with that, right? So
but that grin on your face.
Let's put it this way: the regulators were not at the time as regulating this as much as they are now.
Of course.
Right, and there was, like any industry, some people were a little less scrupulous and some are very scrupulous. Did I come out okay?
Scrupulous, yeah. That's good. We get what you meant. Michael Plecker said, I just PM'd you a video I did a few years ago about this very topic, setting the proper expectations. My training with the builder in 1996 spent a full week on this topic. There
you go. Setting expectations. And part of that setting expectations is the education component. We'll do that. And an interesting slide I found in preparation for today, and I hear this, and maybe this might spur on some conversation. I hear this all the time. I don't have 20%.
Yeah.
And that's just not. It's just not there anymore. Most people are putting somewhere between 3 to 5% down as far as down payments. And this is like probably the biggest myth out there that prevents people from moving forward on the buy side, for what it's worth.
Yonna, it's hard for the first-time home buyer to be competitive in a multiple offer situation. Another comment on the feed: how can a first-time home buyer? And this is from Laura Monk. How does a first-time home buyer or first-time home buyer family get a house if these are multiple offer situations?
So the first thing that you do is hire a trusted advisor. Hire a real estate agent if you don't have one yet, and help navigate that. One of the first things that you have to do is be prepared. And you'll be surprised. I think according to NAR statistics, and I didn't bring that slide with me, only 44% of, and I find this number very hard to believe, frankly. According to NAR, National Association of Realtors, nationwide, only 44% of buyers go through the pre-qualification process.
Only 44%?
Now, I don't believe that number, but that's only because 100% of what we do.
You have to do it. You won't do it unless they have the.
I will not. I will not. I've got appointments this Wednesday and Thursday, and they need to reach out to Scott and their trusted advisor to get pre-quals before we go out. Because what we don't want to do is have them fall in love with something and find out they can't afford it. But from a seller's perspective, it at least shows them that they are real, right? They can perform. Now, the same particular buyer that we're chatting about lost a deal that I kind of knew we weren't going to get it, was because, again, it was at Lake Monticello, again, at that particular price point, but it was a ranch kind of close to the golf course, and that one ultimately went to somebody from the Northeast with a ton of cash because it was retiree. This particular home, the features of the home, and what the buyer profile was going to be for that was going to be a move-up buyer or a family buyer. It was not a retiree, simply because the master bedroom was upstairs, right? Keith and Yonna are not going to, unless we absolutely have to, but we would not choose to buy a master bedroom up.
Of course.
The old knees won't.
Your master's on the first now?
Yep, always.
Nice.
When I designed it and built it, that's the reason I don't have to move, honey.
I'm not going down that road again.
I wasn't calling you honey, by the way.
No, I'm not going down that road about moving again. We talked about that on Friday. I don't think we need to do that again.
That's always a good subject.
Well, you yourself, exact words on the show, I know that there's no better time for us to sell our house than right now.
Yep.
You literally said that exact words on the show.
Totally.
Yeah.
You have no idea how much pressure I get from everybody on that.
What you're saying? Because everybody knows there's no damn inventory.
Yeah. But where am I going to put my boat? How much room do you have at your place?
You're not putting your boat in my backyard. You're not putting your boat in my backyard.
So, I do want.
Is the lake the hottest neighborhood in Central Virginia? What is the hottest neighborhood in Central Virginia? What do you think, agents? What is the hottest neighborhood in Central Virginia?
Well,
first, I think we have to characterize what is hot.
Well, my first question, Mr. Miller, is what are you looking for? What is your needs for you and your family, right? Hot is one thing, but if you were looking for, 50 acres somewhere, that might be a different thing. So, thank you for segueing me into this. Charlottesville, as it stands this morning, and I was shocked by this number, there are 14 homes active, so only single-family detached. I didn't do attached.
City of Charlottesville.
City of Charlottesville,
Okay.
Single-family detached, no new construction. Our normal. Would you want to guess how many are in the pending column?
14. Hold on. Folks, listen to what the man just said here. 14 active listings, single-family detached, in the entire city of Charlottesville.
10 square miles.
10.2 square miles.
10.2 square miles.
10.2 square miles. You told me that.
Actually, Neil taught us that.
Neil told us that. The price range.
No new construction, which there isn't a lot in
What's
Charlotte.
the price range on those 14? What's the lowest price range on those 14?
219.
219 is the lowest?
Yep.
And where's that 219?
Believe it or not, 1208 Smith Street.
1208 Smith Street?
2 bedrooms, 1 bath.
Where's 1208 Smith Street? Do you know?
I do not know.
I'm going to look that up real quick. What's the most expensive of those 14? I love when you do this stuff.
I know you do. 1 point, that's the reason I did it. 1.7.
1.7, good night. So where's that, in that Barracks Road area?
526 North 1st Street.
Okay, so that's probably downtown, right?
Been on the market for 123 days.
Okay, so 1208 Smith Street, I'm looking at that now.
But you didn't.
That's kind of at the base of Pantops and that St. Clair neighborhood by the Rivanna River. Kind of
So-
like the Locust Grove area.
But that's at 219, and then it jumps to 325.
Where's 325? So 1208 Smith Street, of the 14 active listings currently in the city of Charlottesville, 1208 Smith Street is the lowest price active listing at $219K. It is in the kind of behind that Bank of America on the base of Pantops, behind Long Street.
700 square feet. 714 square feet. 15, excuse me.
714 square feet? Is that characterized as a tiny house?
I would.
What's the tiny house threshold?
Boy, that's a great question.
700 some has got to be tiny house, right?
No. You'll see tiny sub 4.
Sub 400?
Yeah, sure. Just think about it. You have a 2-car garage, right?
Yeah, I do.
That's 500.
That's the tiny
500
house.
and something square feet. It's probably 24 by 24, 22 by 22 in that range. That's usually what a two-car garage is.
How long
so just
has
think about
1208
that.
Smith Street been on the market?
14 days.
14 days. Wow. So that tells you at that price point, the fact that it's not under contract and it's been on the market 14 days, that's going to need some significant TLC inside.
Yeah,
I don't even have to walk inside to know that.
I just ran the numbers. I didn't take a look at it. But what I wanted to focus on is the absorption rate.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I look at absorption rate is, look at this, he's getting all excited.
I love numbers. I love numbers.
There's 14 homes. This is single-family detached.
You know why I love numbers? Because numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
You always get honesty with math and numbers.
What is that?
What are you saying? The folks that have two sets of financials? Is
No.
that what that was?
No. Judah, help me out with this. There's statistics and there's like a saying about statistics and lying, right? So you can make numbers pretty much do anything you want, right? But these are just straight run numbers. There's a terminology, somebody will chime in with it. But what I'm trying to get to is how many you think currently are pending in the city of Charlottesville. So 14 are active,
I'll say there's 28. I'll double it.
46.
Good night.
So that's over 3-to-1
That's
ratio.
not a healthy market.
That's over 3-to-1 ratio. Now, they haven't closed yet.
What's the average days on market?
I will tell you the median,
Okay. Of the 46 pending, you can tell me the median?
is 6.
Stop it. God. What's the median price of the 46 pending?
395. But that hasn't, so that'll change once it closes. This is just, you won't know what the actual medium sales price is until it closes, but that's just based on what went pending, right? So you move something from active to pending.
So that number is based on list price?
Yeah, so you don't adjust the sales price until you record it as sold, which is what we'll talk about at the lake here in a minute, because I did that for the last 30 days. So I was shocked by that, because that is contradictory to what everybody's saying is folks are moving out of the city or into larger areas. So these numbers change it. So there's
Well, no, I think what people are saying, okay, I'm playing devil's advocate with you. I think the people
You're going to disagree with me?
The people that are saying
Give me
that
back my
people are
hero.
moving out of the city, Keith, I'm just throwing this out there.
Uh-huh.
I think they're talking about that in more densely populated, larger cities than Charlottesville. The
Some people
flight-
talk about that here, though.
The flight from urban
Yeah, sure.
is not necessarily Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Because you can this is kind of like a town. It's a
Yeah.
small city.
Yeah, well, it's only 50,000 people.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Less than 50K.
So if you thought I went up to Connecticut and didn't play around on the market up there when I was there for a couple of days,
Yeah.
I did. And you're starting to see prices drop down there.
You're seeing prices drop in Connecticut?
At least, Playing around on Realtor and some of the other apps that
See,
I
I
have
would have thought it
access.
would have been the opposite, where Connecticut would be hot with people leaving the city for Connecticut.
It could be, but I think what happened, and I have to spend a little bit of time on it, maybe some people, they tend to put their prices on the market. That's why pricing is so important. If you're too high, these buyers are smart, super smart, right? And they're hiring super smart people. And if it's overpriced,
It'll stand out. It'll be scarlet letter.
it'll be scarlet letter.
What do you say to the people that put their home on the market at an extremely high price just to see if they can get it, and they don't even care about selling it unless they get that price? Can that not tarnish the image of the home?
My opinion?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because then people will see it on Zillow, Realtor, and all these online websites, seeing that it never sold.
Mhm.
Is that, you agree?
Yeah, I agree 100%. You need to,
Be realistic.
yeah, well, and it's, Michael, I think it said, was the expectations.
Yeah.
You have to set expectations, and frankly, taking an overpriced listing doesn't help anybody.
Sure. Yeah.
Doesn't help the market, doesn't help the seller, doesn't help the agent. It just sets really bad expectations. That's my personal opinion, right? It doesn't mean that we may go a little above what we think the market is on that end of it when we have a conversation with the seller. But it really depends on what their goals and objectives are and stuff like that. But as a rule, we try not to take overpriced listings. It happens from time to time, but
Your colleague Michael Plecker from Yes Realty Partners, Keith and Jerry, there are times when a buyer might look at lower price range home than they originally wanted just so they can add an escalation clause and end up on top of the competition. And Keith is right. That's a listing I would not take.
yeah. I hate the word escalation clause, but we'll move on.
Why do you hate the word escalation clause?
I hate them. I just absolutely hate them.
Because you're tipping your hand on the negotiation, what you're willing to go to.
When I represent a buyer, we represent a buyer.
You just go on with your best offer, right?
We will spend a lot of time with our buyer and go through it. In this particular case, I told the agent, I want to let you know, we're not doing an escalation clause. We're going to come in at our highest and best offer, and thank you for spending time with us and sharing information that you shared. And that's it. And if we win, we win. If we don't, we don't.
The escalation clause is certainly in vogue right now.
Yeah, I despise them, frankly. But that's just my personal opinion. I probably just got myself into a little bit of trouble here
I
by
don't think
saying,
so.
well, look, here's the reality of it is.
Being honest?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not in the best interest of the buyer. And I also don't think it's in the best interest of the seller.
Why not the seller?
Well,
I definitely see why it's not in the best interest of the buyer, because you're basically saying an escalation clause is this. Hey, we want to buy that Honda Civic. Our offer on that Honda Civic is $10,000. But you know what? We're willing to go to 11. What do you think the person in the Honda Civic is going to do? Get you as close to 11 as possible. I understand why it's not in the best interest of the buyer, but why not the seller? The seller is getting information on what the buyer is willing to do.
It gets too confusing. Unless you're super sophisticated at doing this stuff, it gets too confusing. So if I have 12 offers and yours is I'll go $1,000 over the next highest and up to a dollar amount. Judah puts one in, I'll do one $2,500 over the up to a dollar amount. It just becomes this really super complicated thing, and then what it does is gets confusing a little bit on who comes in first, who comes in second, right? To me, I just don't like them. If we're representing a seller, we tell people, give us our highest and best offer. This is the timeline. We'll do it. We'll look at all the offers and then determine which one is the best. And our client will determine which is the best after we give them some education on it. But, from a buyer's perspective, you're spot on. If I'm going to do an offer at $100,000, but I'll increase it $5,000 up to $150,000. Well, guess what? You just offered $150,000, right? So,
pretty obvious.
Well, and then it's just the few times that we do it, we create a spreadsheet and we put all the columns in it and we say, this is offer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the price. This is the other terms and conditions on it. This is the escalating clause, and it just becomes this super complicated process. Some people love them. To me, do your homework, make your best offer, and the chips fall where the chips fall, and we just keep on moving on. It's just, homes are coming on the market.
How do you see that? Let me throw this to you. Here's the predicament we're in.
Is Mrs. Smith mad at me?
No, she's not mad. She said that's a start. What you were saying about the house, about your house. She said that's a start. She likes what you were saying. You're asking the question in regards to escalation.
I'll walk it back.
One of my favorite things about this show is you two are just a fantastic couple. I love watching the dynamic of your couple with stuff you say on the show, and then her comments, and then after you say the stuff on the show, you're like, you know what? I probably shouldn't have said that. Because after you started talking about the escalation clauses, I then saw your wheels turning in your head. Excuse me. I saw your wheels turning in your head, and you were like,
your earpiece. Get your earpiece.
You were like, oh my gosh, maybe I should be talking about this.
Look,
Tyler Berry's watching the show from Catch the Chef. What's up, Tyler Berry?
I mean this. I never said I was smart.
Yes, you are. Stop doing that.
This is a lot of fun, though. Add a little spice to it.
Yeah.
So the escalation clause, I probably got myself into a little bit of trouble. I'll get a phone. It happens. I walk out the door. I get a
Oh,
phone.
I think it happened on Friday.
It did happen.
Yeah, I could tell.
It did
That's why you went and finished the phone call in the hallway.
I went in the hallway.
One of the things that I'm good at is human behavior and watching body. And that's one of the things you're good at,
I'm
too.
very good at that.
And then I saw, you know what it was about, too? It was about the house, wasn't it?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I knew that something was happening. I know you well.
You're slowly
He's gonna take the hero.
losing your hero here, bro.
Marquise Johnson is watching and says, "This is hilarious. This is hilarious."
Can we talk to Lake?
Yes, we can talk whatever you want. You're the EP,
EP.
executive producer.
Oh, okay. I thought you said ED.
EP. Look, we're going to give the distinguished gentleman some props here. Okay?
Uh-oh.
When he's doing the show, we're streaming to Facebook and Instagram at the same time. So these white headphones, do a one shot on Keith. The white headphones he has on are his headphones and microphone for Instagram Live.
Uh-huh.
He's such a trooper because his what do you call them?
Hearing aids.
Hearing aids. The hearing aids aren't in. So sometimes we get ET.
I literally reading your lips.
I know you are.
I cannot hear you.
It's impressive. I can tell that you're reading my lips.
I'm reading your lips.
You told me the story about before you got the hearing aids, you were doing these these commission meetings and you were the chair and you could hear anybody.
You got to really go there.
It was a hilarious story, dude. And then you got them and you're like, oh, this is what it's like to hear. Isn't that what it was?
Yeah. So they thought I was a schmuck because I was interrupting them all the time. I just couldn't hear them. I thought that if I didn't see their lips moving, I didn't realize they weren't talking. And on Zoom, it's even harder.
Right. It's brutal on Zoom.
And if I don't
Especially if you get a lot of people.
if I don't have my hearing aids in, and I'm in this far away, I can't hear a word you're saying, and I'm literally reading your lips.
What is the most amount of people?
What did you just say?
The most amount of people.
Freak you too, pal.
F you, Keith.
F you.
Most amount of people you've had on a Zoom that you've been leading, where you led the meeting.
Oh.
Could you do some of these big, region-wide, right? Would that be for the planning, for the
Regional housing
regional
partnership.
housing? Yeah.
I would say, man, Susan would know, maybe 20?
That's a lot.
Maybe 20?
Yeah.
And it's hard, right? Because
Right.
you got presentations and people, and the way it goes is multiple people are sharing multiple things, and I'm trying to track the meeting and track the time and make sure everybody's engaged. And
Do you rotate the hot mic around the 20 people? Is that the only way you can organize a meeting like that?
No. Anybody who's attended any meeting that I chair, I'm super stickler to following the agenda and the time slots into it. I really, and I do get compliments from that from certain elected officials that, hey, if we're going to be finished at 3:30, we're going to finish at 3:30. And if we're not going to finish at 3:30, at 3:15, I'm going to poll everybody and say, okay, we're running a little bit over. Is everybody okay? We move this agenda to 3:45 and get their buy-in on it. These are all very super busy people, and do that. But yeah, generally what happens is I love using the raise the hand feature. That's how we do it. We mute everybody, raise the hand, and not that this turned into a Zoom protocol thing, but we'll always. And the staff is great. Susan, Christine Jacobs, some just the people that make all this magic work. Abby Tammin with Carr, setting up these preset voting polls makes the meetings move real efficiently. I don't know what we're going to do when we actually go back. Some of this stuff is going to.
Well, you're probably not going to go back. You're probably going to keep doing it.
We'll have to go back
to in person.
The public bodies will have to go back.
That is the rules.
Of course, yeah.
They can't do it via Zoom.
No. Once the governor, and if Neil is watching, he'll second this, I hope. Once the governor lifts his certain orders, you will have to go back. It's public. It has to be open to the public. Right? The commission is open to the public. Regional Housing Partnership is open to the public. This is so, what's the, and I apologize, I've forgotten her name. What's the young lady that's really good at foiering?
Tanisha Hudson?
Tanisha.
Yeah.
That's the whole key here. You have to be able.
Spending her own hard-earned money.
And hats off to her.
Yeah.
That's a good thing what she's doing. may not see the same thing eye to eye on the topic, but my hat's off to her. You know, she's out there doing it. And,
Yeah.
And
Put in work.
Mm-hmm. And it's all there. I mean, it's there, and that's the point I'm trying to get at. You really want to have in-person meetings. You really want to have Tanisha or me or you or whoever to come up to that podium for that 3 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on the jurisdiction, and have a conversation. It makes a huge difference. It really does. I've seen decisions literally go from one to the other just based on the feedback from public comment. So it'll get there, and as it should be. It should be super transparent. So, but the other boards I sit on, probably not, because they're not public.
To Keith's credit, last night, City Council denied a permit for an 11-unit apartment complex proposed for Monticello Road. The Planning Commission voted in favor of this. City Council denied it. In part, they denied it because of the public comment.
Yeah.
Don Gathers, one of many to comment against this 11-unit apartment complex, and Payne said, when casting his vote, Michael Payne, Charlottesville City Councilor,
Public comment made a difference. Yeah, sure.
literally said that.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm calling up the article from the Daily Progress now, and he said, let me see if I can call it. Don Gathers spoke against it. Laura Goldblatt spoke against it. And I want to throw this to you here. If we start keeping 11-unit apartment complexes from coming on the market, because the folks that speak against it are saying it's not affordable housing, and the whole concept of a lot of people running for office was affordable housing, certainly Snook, McGill, and Payne. Isn't this the quintessential definition of perfection, the enemy of productivity, or as our friend Matthew Gillikin put on Facebook, we just cut off our nose to spite our face? Something is better than nothing.
So,
do you agree or disagree?
yes, but maybe no yes.
Okay. Interesting.
A very dearest close friend who's Pakistani, and he always says this, yes, but maybe no yes. Great guy, love him to death, fellow Marine. So I don't want to comment on that because I have not dug into that particular project.
Okay.
But I'm going to take an opportunity to springboard off of that to talk about what we're trying to do with the land trust.
Yeah.
That is an example by which we can do that. And what we didn't talk about with the Charlottesville active number, the median number, because you didn't ask me it, and what the pending was, or maybe you did on the pending. But the active number, you're ready to hear what the median sales price is?
So there's 14 active listings in the city of Charlottesville right now, only 14 active listings in the city of Charlottesville. What is that price?
So the median, which kicks out the high and the low, has a 7 in front of it.
That is nuts. Did you hear that, everybody?
So out of 14
active listings, the listing price,
median,
the median,
which kicks out your high and your low,
has a 7 in it.
722,450.
Yeah.
So
do you hear that, everybody?
Jumps from 219 to 325.
So the lowest one is on Smith Street, on the base of Pantops Mountain, behind the Bank of America and that CVS and the Papa John's. That's 219,000 for 700 and some square feet on Smith Street.
Not that this is even remotely close to affordable, but there's only 7 under half $500,000.
7 of the 14, only 7 of the 14 are under $500,000.
So 219, just real quick,
If you're a
219.
first-time home buyer, this is a brutal market. A brutal market.
Well, that's why what we're trying to
The
do
land trust.
with the land trust, because we will put at a minimum the units that we did on Nassau at 215.
You got those Nassau pictures?
I didn't send them this morning.
But he might have them from the last time.
Okay.
If you can, give us a thumbs up.
So, thank you, Judah. It goes from 219 to 325, 364, 364, 370, 490, and then 499, and then it jumps. Jumps to what? What do you think it jumps after 499?
I mean, if the median has a 7 in it, it's probably going to 9.
Very good, 945.
Yeah, what's the 945? What's that address? Give me the addresses of the top five.
That one is 512 Lexington.
512 Lexington? I know exactly where that is. That's north downtown.
499 is 1006 Avon.
Okay, hold on one second. 1006 Avon?
We're going to do this live?
Yeah, I'm learning from you. This is my favorite part of the show, dude.
I know that.
I freaking love this. Okay, so you have 1208 Smith Street is $219K list price. That's the lowest. I'm calling up 1006 Avon Street right now. I got 512 Lexington. Of all the ones you use, I like the Realtor app the best. Is that the one you like the best?
No, I use Paragon because that's what I got access to.
You have the nitty gritty. But Paragon feeds into the Realtor app.
It does, yeah.
Where Zillow's crowdsourcing or is...
Well, that's going to change or it has already changed because Zillow now is using the IDX feed, and that's what gets you from MLS into Realtor.
Because the Realtor stuff is more, from my experience, the Realtor stuff is more up to date. And more nitty gritty.
Yeah, so if one of these would to go into pending today, within a very short period of time, minutes, Realtor picks it. It's kind of seamless in that. Zillow, not so much, but as they start migrating into this IDX feed, it'll start catching up.
The Lexington Avenue listing is beautiful.
I'm sure it is. For 900, where is the number?
Yeah, you walk everywhere. That's north downtown. What's the top one? That was the one that was downtown, right? It was $1 million and change?
526 North 1st Street.
526 North 1st Street, Charlottesville.
But again, and I want to make this plug for this thing. This is so important.
You get Nassau? No.
So just think about it. We sold on Nassau Street, and we're going to try to hit this 215 number. 1,500 square feet. The one on the market at 219 is 700 square feet. We're more than double in that. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths versus 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. Brand new construction. Net zero solar on it. Granite countertops. Luxury vinyl tile flooring throughout. An actual master bath suite with a shower and 2. I mean, this is high-end, upper scale stuff for $215. I'd love to get it below $200 if I could. Depends on how much money we can get from some grant sources. If we, as far as raising the capital to do the lot acquisition, we have the capital to go vertical and sell it at that $215 mark. It's just, I wanted to spend a minute and talk about that.
We should spend more than a minute. On Friday, February 12th, from 10 a.m.
We need help.
Yeah, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. We're going to do a 12-hour straight telethon here on the I Love CVille Network, myself and Keith Smith. And the goal is to raise, through crowdsourcing, minimum $150,000. And if we could raise $150,000, that's 3,000 people in the Central Virginia community giving $50 each. We can do this. If we can raise $150,000, that money goes to the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust, nonprofit.
Correct.
That is committed to affordable housing in the
area.
area.
Tax deductible, by the way.
Tax deductible, all your donations. So if you raise $150K, the land trust takes the money and buys a piece of property on Teb Street West, and it turns it into 5 units of affordable housing.
It does. If you can get me 300.
If you get to 300,000, what do you got? Carlton and Monticello?
Correct. We can do 11.
Yeah, you could do 11.
You get me $500,000, I'll buy some more.
Well, all you need is.
Thought I'd bait you a little.
Is this what he's like, Susan? Is this what he's like, Susan?
I thought I'd bait you a little bit. No.
You're good at that. You know you're good at that because you know I'm a competitive guy.
I know.
And
I'm seeing the wheels turning.
One of the things I will give you some props. One of the things that you do extremely well is you can psychologically assess people quickly.
Yeah.
And you can cater to certain traits that they show.
I learned that when I was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I see you downplay your ability, but your street smarts are freaking off the charts.
It's a true story. Maybe
you know you do that, and I don't even think sometimes you realize you're doing that.
I've been doing
it for so long. Yeah.
Was taught that was part of what I learned when I was in the Corps.
Yeah.
When I was attached to the U.S. embassies, that was, a huge part of your training, but
Your survival.
well, yeah. So I learned this. I was 19 years old. So one of the things when you're behind the Iron Curtain, the job of entertaining the Western diplomats fell on the Marines. So we had a bar in our house, Marine house, that I'm trying to tell me the best bar in the city of Charlottesville. What you think?
Oh man, that would get me in so much trouble.
Okay,
So you know
so
what? I'll say best bar in the city of Charlottesville. I'm going to say.
actual bar.
Well, you know, Virginia, there's no bars. in Virginia.
I got it, but something that comes close to an actual
I'll
bar.
I'll say Peloton Station or Three Notched. You don't say those are bars? All right.
So this was along the lines of quality, as far as upper level goes.
Okay. So you have champagne taste.
Yeah.
I'm more of a pub tavern.
You got to
guy.
keep in mind we're entertaining diplomats and ambassadors and stuff like that.
So what do you say is the best bar in the city of Charlottesville?
Well, I'm just trying to compare a bar that would visually look like the same as what we had in here, and it would be like
Like a Zocalo?
no, probably the Alley Light.
Okay, like the Alley Light. Okay. All right. So we're talking some swank here.
It was like Alley Light.
Okay.
So I'm 19 years old. I'm sitting in the middle having a drink, and to the left of me is the U.S. ambassador. To the right of me is the British ambassador, and they're sitting at a bar having a drink, and they're asking me my opinion as a 19-year-old. But one of them, the American ambassador, turned to me and he goes, "You know what makes us really good at what we do?" And I said, "No, sir. What makes you really good? Our job, my job, is to figure out a way to communicate to you in the way that you understand it, not the way I understand it. That's how diplomacy is supposed to work, right? So we may be on the different side of an opinion or a different side of negotiations, and that's kind of how we do what we do." Yonna comes from that same world because she was let's face it, she was the charge d'affaires, second in charge of the Austrian embassy in Sofia, Bulgaria in the first half of the 80s. She's a pretty smart lady. But that was kind of the things that was taught to you about try to figure out what the other guy is trying to tell you or the other person is trying to tell you, understand it, right? And then communicate to that person in that way. So that was kind of how I started it. I had Angelo at the thing going, he and I were dropping F-bombs and going, F you, F me, and we just had big smiles on our face and it was nothing but love. Went to REI down the road, needed to change that. You didn't walk into REI doing soup Nazi, right? It just doesn't work that way. You have to understand how to communicate with the folks at REI. So,
You know what that's called?
I don't know.
Well, you call it just being Keith Smith, surviving. That has a name. It's called code switching.
Is that what that is? Is that a bad thing?
Code switching is not a bad thing.
I don't know. That sounds bad.
Code switching is the sign of a very smart person. And frankly,
Oh.
what code switching is, in a paraphrasing terminology, is code switching is
That sounds bad. I think
code switching is the ability to adapt your language, your dialect, your vernacular, how you speak, your hand motions, to who you're speaking with. And the best code switchers adapt to who they're speaking with or interacting to make the person comfortable. And the manipulating code switchers
yeah, that
are the ones that are doing it to get something that they want on the back end. So there's different kinds of code switching. There's code switching.
I'm learning today.
There's code switching to make the person you're interacting with feel more comfortable.
Sure.
And there's code switching at a different level where you're making the person feel more comfortable because you have an ulterior motive.
We would call that a con guy.
Well, or you call that manipulation.
That would be a con guy.
Yeah, that's called code switching.
Yeah. Well, we were taught that, and you had to learn real fast because it was, you're 19 years old in a whole different world, and you need to adapt and overcome pretty quickly.
So how do you feel the telephone's going to go on the 12th?
I don't know. I think we can hit that 500,000 you've been talking about.
Do not do this. You see what he's doing? I'm trying to set expectations for my colleague over here, much like you set your expectations for your clients in real estate transactions.
Let's put it this way. I'm so positive about it, I already got it built in my head. I'm already looking for more property.
If we raise the 100, let's just say we raise the 150K.
Yep.
If we raise the 150K, 10th Street West.
Yep.
5 units of
Yep.
affordable housing that look like Nassau
Yep.
Street. When will they come into market?
Well, we talked about that. So acquisition is only one part of it.
Right.
then we have to go in front of the city council, Michael Payne, Lloyd Snook, the mayor, Heather, Sina.
And get some approvals.
We need to get some approvals, right? Which, I don't want to sound overconfident, but I'm confident.
Maybe, I hope it happens.
Yeah.
That's that.
Well,
Did you like that, how I chose that language?
well, the way you do something like this is similar to how you negotiate a contract and similar to what I learned when I was in the Corps and working with diplomats.
How could it possibly be no? How could it possibly be no? You come with the money, you buy the land, you're doing affordable housing that's needed.
Yeah.
Their entire platform's based on affordable housing.
Yeah, well, how it possibly could be no is if it wasn't done right? So if we tried to ram this through without communicating with the adjoining property owners, which we will not do that. That's our next step. Our next step, which we're already in the process of doing, is we need to communicate with or engage the community and say, this is what we're doing on this property, before we even submit it. That's how you do that. And that's why guys like, or folks like Chris Henry, right? They're really good at what they do because they understand this. So if we just rammed this through the city and never took consideration of the adjoining property owners and the neighborhood, how it felt, then that's how you get to a public hearing and one or two people can say something and you lose your votes, right? So you do your homework up front, you educate, you do that. Now, if the community wants us to build upside down with the foundations up and the roofs this way, then that's not going to happen. But you want to engage them and feel like they're part of the process. That doesn't mean you're not going to make everybody happy. That's never going to happen. But you can stand in front of that podium and look at the folks, or virtually, and look at the folks at the dais and know you've done everything you needed to do to engage the community and have something to say. And that's where things tend to fall apart. When people don't engage the community, it'll bite you on the ass. So that's our next step.
There you go.
Was that a good answer?
That was a great answer.
That was the best answer. You want to talk to Lake? Or what time is it?
Well, you got 11:16. We can talk to Lake.
Interesting. So I'm using that as the litmus test.
Mm-hmm. The Instagram Live, 52 seconds, that's going to turn off because you got an
Okay.
hour on Instagram Live. But we can definitely go on Facebook here.
Okay. Why do we only have an hour on? Is that like a rule?
Yeah. That's
Really?
Yeah.
Can we do something about that?
Do you see the counting? Oh, because I initiate it. You don't see it on screen. I'm seeing a 37 seconds remaining. They only give you an hour for an Instagram
So
Live.
Instagram, thank you for joining us for the last 37 seconds of this, and switch over to.
Yeah, we're going to be on Facebook. Let's hear about the lake.
Yeah, so I use that as a bit of a litmus test on what's going on, and as I put up in my hot little fingers here, this is the whole report for the last quarter of 2020, right? But I wanted to take a look at what happened at the lake in January. So currently, and the reason I like doing that is it's a microcosm, right? We talk about these micro markets all the time. It's easy to grab your hands around it.
4,400 rooftops, right? Roughly?
4,300 roughly.
Okay.
Rooftops on it. So, you want to take a guess on how many actives are today?
At the lake?
Mm-hmm. This is the lowest number I've seen it. That doesn't mean
4?
No, 12.
Okay. Sorry, I was off.
Yeah, you're a little off.
12 is the lowest you've ever seen?
I thought the lowest I've seen was 15.
Of those 12, is that one that's been on the market for a long time still on the market?
No.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Yep.
The one was a little tough on the condition of the home.
Yep.
That sold?
Could be.
Or they took it off?
The longest days on market is 74, and that's 18 River Ridge, Drive. But here's the thing there. Median, high and low, taken out. Lake Monticello, 3 bedrooms, 2.25 baths, 2.5 baths, call it. 3/4 of an acre. So the lake is usually about a third of an acre. Usually about a half acre, third of an acre, somewhere in that range. 1,900 square feet, 10 days on market, $251. That's the median list price. But you want to take a gamble on how many?
Take a guess?
Yeah, on how many are pending?
How many are pending? How many?
30.
Really? Dude, This is the question. This is the question we have to figure out. The
You
question
know,
you have to figure out.
I don't know. That's why I was hoping folks would chime in. I need some help with this.
This is what you got to figure out. Where are we going to move to if we sell our home question?
Sure.
That is keeping the real estate market from truly exploding. So I'll throw this to you.
Lack of inventory is doing that. New inventory.
Well, we don't have an inventory. We have a lack of
I'm
inventory.
talking about new construction.
Oh, new construction. Well, I think the main culprit here is the lack of consumer confidence. I think that's the main culprit of why inventory is not coming on the market.
I don't know.
Is Emily outside?
I don't think so.
Okay. What time? She's got to come in for the headshot. I just got to.
11:30.
Okay, gotcha. So that's what I'm asking. So here's the question I have. And
You
here,
running my calendar now, too?
well, I have it on my phone. Here's the question I
I'll
have.
turn
for
off
you.
my New York attitude.
Here's the question I have for you. You ready for you?
I got other stats to do on this, but go ahead.
But the question I have for you: until the vaccine comes, until the vaccine is ubiquitous, until the vaccine is in the arms of a lot of people in Central Virginia, my prediction is we will have an inventory pitch on real estate. People are uncertain about this because of consumer confidence. And the only thing that's going to solve the consumer confidence is the vaccination.
I think holistically, right, for the economy, for the country, you're spot on. I don't think it makes a difference for real estate.
Then why do we have the inventory pinch? And the reason I'm asking you that is you got historically low interest rates. People have more purchasing power than ever. Charlottesville and Central Virginia are an iconic place to live. We have people leaving Northern Virginia. Why don't we have more inventory if it's not the consumer confidence?
You know, is it consumer? It's not consumer confidence, I think, over a vaccine or not a vaccine. It's a consumer confidence of where am I going to go?
But isn't that all the same thing?
Well, I don't want to argue with you live, but I disagree with you.
Oh, I love that. Let's disagree. We can disagree.
Yeah.
That's the best part of it.
I don't quite understand the rationale. So I think this 2020 proved that one is separate from the other. Would you agree?
Because you're saying in 2020 it was a record year.
I think we would have had the same inventory crunch regardless of a pandemic. I may be wrong. Because the same thing.
See, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
Do you guys? Okay. What do you think, Yonna? I mean,
But 20.
You think we would have had
2019?
the same inventory crunch?
Maybe not the same numbers, maybe differently, but we were on a trajectory.
A trajectory.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've for the last 24 months we've had inventory anemia.
And that's fair. And to your credit, and to your argument's credit, you can leverage the lack of new construction coming on the market to justify your points.
That has been going on
For years.
For years.
Yeah. And to your credit, you've been pointing that out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that has been. So that
And
is.
it's even worse here.
It is even worse.
Because we have 5% of Albemarle County that can be new construction. In
Or
less than 5%.
less than
Neil
5%.
Williamson corrected us that.
Correct,
And of that less than 5%, that also freaking includes commercial.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing. Lake Monticello sold last 30 days, 21 units, 21 homes. So we got 12. What is it? 12 on the market, 30 pending. Last 30 days, 21 sold. So these are actual numbers, right? Because it's closed. Median, high and low out, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 2,014 square feet. Want to take a gamble on how many days on market it was the last month? Sold?
Tell me. 4.
4 days. 245. The highest number was 680.
You know who else this is hard for? Not only first-time home buyers. How about young and rookie real estate agents and realtors? I mean, young and rookie realtors have nothing to buy or sell, help their clients buy or sell.
So it's funny you should say that. I had a conversation with somebody the other day. They were going, this must be great for you guys, meaning real estate agents.
Yeah, and you're like, no, we don't have anything to sell.
Let me explain to you how I get paid.
Right.
Right? And
Well, how about the rookie that doesn't have the pipeline?
that's exactly right. So it's a different thing, right? So back in '08, '09, 10, 11, yada yada yada, we were starving because we were trying to motivate buyers to buy, right? And there's a topic that we're going to bring up. It's if not Friday, but next week, which I've been trying to stay away from, but I'm getting a ton of questions on it to tackle it. Is there going to be a foreclosure crisis coming? And my answer to that is no. And we'll talk about that. I'm actually trying to get Lisa Sturvant to come back on. I'm really trying to get Dr. Yoon from NAR to come in, National Associate, but he has not returned my phone call. I might have to go up and knock on his door.
Are you going to do that?
Of course I would.
I know you would.
Wouldn't even think about
Lisa
it.
Sturtevant would be great.
Yeah. Lisa's a rock star.
She's one of my favorite guests you bring.
Without a doubt. She's a rock star. She really knows how to break this stuff down. But clearly, in my opinion, we're not even going to. Will foreclosures increase? Absolutely. Tough conversation to have. Because what happens if foreclosures increase?
You have more inventory in the market.
There you go. Teach you. Look at that.
So you're basically alluding to this. Maybe a foreclosure crisis helps create a healthy market.
Crisis is the wrong word.
Maybe a foreclosure
increase.
A momentum behind foreclosures makes the market more healthy. The tough part is when the foreclosed properties come on the market, those things are freaking brutal to buy.
Yeah. So
I tried to buy a foreclosure.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
Yeah. When was that?
Before I bought our house in Piper Way on Glen. Dude, I literally, it was...
Was it in foreclosure or was it in pre-foreclosure?
It was both. I tried to buy it when it was before foreclosure.
Yeah.
Look, you'll hear a crazy freaking story.
So this is an important subject. Really, seriously, we're going to have to... I got to spend some more time thinking about this and bringing guests in. This is why this is an important subject. The forbearance...
It was on Sandown Park Road. I think it's still freaking on the market. And the crappy part of it, the bank owns the property now.
Yeah.
They don't even care about this house. They're letting the house rot.
So a friend of mine is a president of a bank up north, and he will always tell me, if you think bankers are smart, you're wrong.
Yeah, they don't even care about the property.
Nah.
And you're talking, Keith, you're talking like,
So
a serious home.
Yeah. So we're going to have to bring some really smart people in other than, our conversation to talk about this. This is not a simple topic to talk about, but it's kind of coming. So this forbearance stuff is going to kind of tweak the market a little bit. But here's the deal, and this is what people who may be in this, and I'll have to be honest with you.
Who's good in the foreclosures? Rob Alley.
Rob is good. We'll probably bring in Bill Tucker to talk about it from that end of it. Here's the deal on this. This is really, if you're in a forbearance and you don't quite know how this is going to go, two things you need to do. One is call your
the loan
servicer.
Yeah.
Your loan officer. This is another reason why you want to use local.
Someone local that you can talk to.
You can actually have a conversation with. And the second thing, you got to call a trusted realtor, trusted real estate agent. Because what you want to do is if it looks like you don't know how this is going to go, right? You think, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to pay back this amount of money. Because usually what's happening is...
They're tacking it on the back end.
They're tacking it on the back end.
Yeah.
That's exactly
I think
right.
a lot of people don't realize that.
They tack it on the back end.
Yeah.
That's
not like you guys aren't... It's not like the payments aren't going to have to be made. They're just adding it to the back end. I have a friend. I'm not going to say the friend's name.
I have family members, so I get it.
Okay, I'm not going to say a friend's name. A business
Yep.
cannot make a substantial rent payment because of COVID.
Yeah.
They're giving breaks.
Yep.
Siloing the money off that was not paid.
Sure.
Not only tacking it on the back end, but adding interest.
Mm-hmm. That's a commercial loan, though. So that's
brutal.
I get that, but that is very different because CARES and all this.
It's different.
It's very different. What people, and this is, I was thinking about that for almost 12 hours driving in the snow yesterday on this show. You need to reach out before you get there. And what I mean by that is once this process starts, You can't stop. It's the only way you're going to stop it is with a bankruptcy. So the good thing or the great thing about this process today than it was in 08, 09, 10, and 11 is you probably have enough equity in your home just to get rid of it and get the loan off your back. 08, 09, 10, 11, you didn't have that.
Oh yeah, you were underwater.
You were underwater.
You owed. Yeah.
But once that process starts, right, it is awfully hard to stop.
Yeah, Yonna said, let's remember, these are people losing their home.
I appreciate that. These are people losing their home, and that's where you have to come from that. And that's why this is a difficult conversation to have. But we need to get in front of these folks and educate them and help them navigate this process before that F word starts. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Our Mark McKinney's watching the show. He's Crozet.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? I think we should do this. I'm just going to throw this out there. I might invite Mark on the show, on the I Love CVille show.
Okay.
We have him on there. He would be a phenomenal Crozet correspondent. And he said on the feed, just listed in Crozet, 118 Dunwood Drive, new construction, 3-bed, 3-bath, 2,050 square feet, 525 ask. Just came on the market.
Yeah, so, Mark, my numbers pulled out Crozet. And you know what, Mark, I love this idea of this.
Crozet correspondent.
Thank you. But I'm trying to find and I will get to it eventually, the Albemarle County numbers, which was, here we go, very unique, different set of numbers. So, Mark, the one you're talking about is not in this number because I factored out new construction. As it stands right now, 117 homes in the whole county of Albemarle is on the market. 133 is impending. Not quite on par, but awfully close, right, as far as coming in and coming off. Again, without new construction, the median list price, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, roughly 2 acres, 3,800 square feet, 116 days on the market, $850. I didn't run the sale numbers, but you're 100% right. And the land trust is working with a local developer and builder that we might be able to bring 50 affordable housing units to the Crozet area, assuming certain things go in a certain direction. So, but yeah, Mark, love to bring you on, brother. Anytime, man.
You did a good job today.
Okay, thank you. We didn't eat our hoagies.
have
You
to.
got me calling them hoagies. This is for your lunch. It's heroes right now.
Why you call them heroes, not hoagies?
I don't know.
Or subs?
I don't know. It's a great question. I
learned today schmuck was German for jeweler.
Yeah. Well, check with Mrs. Smith. But
Is that right, Yonna? Schmuck is German for jeweler?
Google it. What's German for jeweler?
Smuck. How do you spell?
No. Just say, what's the German word for jeweler?
What is the German
word
for jeweler?
Jeweler.
That's a tough word to spell, jeweler.
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
Don't think it means jeweler.
It's not schmuck. It's not schmuck.
Really?
It's not schmuck. Because the word over here, can you say that word in German? I can't say that German word. Can you say that German word?
Well, Mrs. Smith did it. I know that when I walk through the streets of Vienna and Berlin, remember this as clear as day. I see schmuck on top of it, and I went, Yonna, what the hell does that mean?
Can you see, what is that word? Can you say that word?
Juwelieren.
That's the word.
Yeah.
It's jeweler. One more time?
No.
Juwelieren.
But also German has different words for...
Judah's a smart guy.
Yeah, but German also has different words that mean the same thing.
Schmuck is from Yiddish.
It's okay.
Judah's a wordsmith. This guy's got a very
Well,
strong
I'll tell you what.
linguistics
We
background.
got to go. It's 12.
We do have to go. We do have to go. Yeah.
We will have Mrs. Smith chime in on that end of it.
Okay. Schmuck.
Well, I had this hero debate with my son-in-law.
What was the
Harry.
debate with Harry?
Where did this word come from?
Right?
Where did it come from?
And what did he say?
We couldn't figure it out.
So you guys are sitting over there talking about euros while your daughter and your wife are taking care of the kids?
And your point is?
He's Keith. I'm Jerry. That's Judah. This is Real Talk,
Thanks,
presented
guys.
by the Yes Team
Enjoy your
Realtors.
sandwich.
Oh, thank you for the
That
sub.
one's actually for Judah.
Thank you. Thank you. We're grateful. You guys have a good one. Everyone have a good day. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Schmuck.
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 2 feet. We're looking at 12 to 18 inches, and we.
SCH.
SCH. Foolish.
Well, technically, it's calmed down to the word dick.
Let's see. Schmuck is Yiddish. Oh, schmuck is a vulgar term, means penis.
Yeah, it's a dick.